Hello racers, welcome to the pre-recorded race video for the Pocket Gopher Challenge. Can't say that I'm a huge fan, but we're going to get through this. I did take some notes, so I'll probably be looking down at my notes from time to time, but so we're going to go ahead and get started. First of all, what I thought I would do is kind of introduce myself. My name is John Harris. A lot of you don't know me in the Midwest. Because I originally started adventure racing on the East Coast. Just to give you a little bit of my background, I was in the military, got out of the military in 2000, and it was while I was in the military I was an infantry Army Ranger guy, and that's kind of what got me interested in land nav and orienteering, and I had the opportunity to basically land nav and orienteer all over the world. It was a wonderful experience. So when I got out of the military in 2000, I was looking for something to do, and I started adventure racing. And my very first adventure race was in Kentucky. Back then, the adventure race director was literally sitting in his Jeep on top of a beer keg. He handed us a map that had 28 points on it and said, go find your points. You could bike, you could kayak, you could do whatever you wanted. I actually saw a guy that had his bike actually tied onto the top of his kayak. It was kind of the Wild West. And the reason I say that is it's going to make a point later on here in the meeting. But since that time, since 2000, actually the Stubborn Mule, again, shout out to Paula. This last past Stubborn Mule was my 103rd adventure race. So I've pretty much raced all over the country. I've actually raced all over the world. So as I was racing, I started to see a change from the Wild West that we had in the 2000s to where I actually saw adventure racing become almost compartmentalized, to where it was a bike, it was a canoe, it was a run, almost like an off-road triathlon. And actually, before I took a break from adventure racing, I actually saw signs at one adventure race that was like mountain biking trail this way. And that's really not what I think of an adventure race. So the reason I tell you all this, one, is to introduce myself. Two, is to say, when I decided to start the Pocket Gopher Challenge and create the Pocket Gopher Challenge series, I wanted to take all of the good things that I like about adventure racing and bring those back. That's not to say adventure racing's bad. Now, a lot of race directors do an outstanding job out there. Again, just one person's opinion, but this is what I wanted to do with the Pocket Gopher Challenge. Some of you will agree with me. Some of you probably won't. I know there's a few things that you won't agree with, and we're going to get to those in a minute. But again, we're going to have some fun. The other thing, just so everyone knows, in the future, what I'm looking at doing, what I really want to do with the Pocket Gopher series, is I really, really want to bring back expedition style racing to adventure racing at the local level. So I would like to bring back the 48-hour races, the 72-hour races. So my hopes and dreams is that you'll see those races in the future. So we're going to go ahead. That's kind of my background. And the reason I give you that, again, is because this is my first race. So along with that, if I had a theme for the Pocket Gopher Challenge, it would be options, options, and more options. Is it going to be the Wild West? Absolutely not. The terrain doesn't allow for that. But within the terrain, within where we're navigating, I'm going to give you as many options as you possibly can. I'm very proud to say one of the things that I'm most proud of in this event is there are absolutely 0 roads that are off limits. There is no place that you cannot go. There is no place that I try to pigeonhole you and send you down one course or another course. Every road in this race is open to you. There are only 2 things that are off limits. Stay out of the bean fields, stay out of the cornfields, And one of the sections that you're going to be on, it is located near a prison. The prison is very, very well marked. I don't have you navigating really anywhere close to the prison, but my advice is stay far away from the prison. Other than that, decision is yours. What road you want to take, what trail you want to take, what path you want to take is completely up to you. You're also going to come across in one section is well developed. Some sections aren't well developed. The other thing that you're going to hear me talk about a little bit as we go through, I almost wish this was an October race because there's some interesting historical things that you're going to see on this course, but we will get to those. Before that, I'm going to move into the admin section. And in the admin section, again, paperwork, I put it out in every race update. Please make sure that you come with your USARA forms filled out, ready to go, hand in to the lady. She'll give you your packet. She'll give you your map packets. And then you guys can be on your way. Drop-offs. Let's talk about drop-offs real quick for that. And it's just a canoe drop-off. If you brought your own canoe, the canoe drop-off is at 7 a.m. Make sure that it's not more than about 25 minutes from the place. So 25 minutes max. So don't worry. Get there at 7. Drop your canoe. You'll easily make it back in time for packet pickup. If you are renting a canoe from Pocket Gopher Challenge, but you're bringing your PFD, thank you very much, or you're bringing your paddle, again, thank you. Please make sure you bring that to the drop-off. I don't want you guys, excuse me, I don't want you guys carrying your paddles and your PFDs to the first, it's actually the second transition area, but over to that transition area. So please make sure you drop them off. All of the boats will be labeled because we have different configurations. And I'll get to that in just a minute on why that happened. But the bottom line is, if you're renting a boat from me, you'll have your team name there, and you'll have either your paddle, your PFD, paddles and PFDs. Whatever you signed up for, they will be there. Okay, I want to talk real quick about volunteers. I counted them up the other day. I have 39 volunteers on the course, handing out packets or doing whatever they need to do to help our race be the most successful race that it can be. Almost all of my volunteers are from the Northfield Gymnastics Club, which brings me to my next point that I am very happy to say. I'm very transparent, by the way, so I'm very happy to say that 100% of the profit from this race is going to the Northfield Gymnastics Club. For those of you who may not be from around here or may not be from Minnesota, Northfield is a very unique town. It has very expensive colleges, St. Olaf and Carleton. But outside of that community, like many communities across the Midwest, this community struggles. And Northfield Gymnastics provides scholarships to young men and young ladies. Primarily young ladies, but they have both a men's and a women's department. They provide scholarships, and they do not turn a single young person who wants to come into their gym has never been turned down. They hold a very special place in my heart because my daughter started in their program when she was 5 years old. She's going to be a senior this year, and I can truly say that Northfield Gymnastics has been a huge part of her life. And has helped her. So on this course, you will see a lot of young female gymnasts at the checkpoints with their parents. Just know that they look up to you guys. I've talked a lot about you. They're excited to see you. They're excited about this sport. Again, not singling anyone out. But they're really, really excited about the ladies that are in this course. They're young girls. Their main thing is, I hope the girls beat the boys. So ladies, I don't mean to throw that out there, but the point of this is they can use the encouragement. So a kind word goes a long way. So if you do see the young ladies and young men out there please let them know that you appreciate them. The other thing that I wanted to say, I'm trying to think the best way to say this is, I'm not expecting any of you guys to be angels. I'm not an angel myself. I'm far from it. But please watch your language in the transition areas. Just understand that you have young ladies and men that are between 8 to 15 years old. I'm not, if it happens, it happens. Again, I'm just asking you just to be careful. The other thing that I've been kind of hesitant about, I've thought this over in my mind a lot. The best way to say it, there will be law enforcement. There will be Rice County police officers who are here on our course. They're there to help us out. You would have to have lived under a rock for the last year to not understand everything that has happened in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, and what's going on. All of my law enforcement, I know. I'm friends with most of them, and they have volunteered their time to come out. I'm asking you, please respect them, be courteous to them. I don't know any other way to say it. We're here to race. We're not here to be political. All I ask is that they're actually very nervous because it's a crowd gathering and just everything that's happened. And I've assured them that we're here to race, and that's what we're here to do. So again, what they could use more than anything, if you feel so compelled as someone to, again, a kind word, a thank you. They have worked very hard to get this course ready for us. They have supported us 100%. So I will just leave it at that. So we're going to go into the race rules now. On the race rules, I'm not going to go over all the race rules because the race rules are they are printed out, and you will receive a printout of them. And so I'm just going to go over a couple of rules. The first rule is GPSs. I've talked to Paula, who's hosting the Nationals. I've actually talked to Mike up at USARA. GPSs are very contentious. Bottom line is no GPSs. What's that mean? No smartphones, smartwatches, those types of things. Obviously, because you have to carry a cell phone, it has to be in a sealed, waterproof bag. You definitely want to make sure that it's in a sealed waterproof bag on this course. I am going to deviate that from that rule just a little bit and say that, and there is a reason for this, but if you have a smartphone or a smartwatch, and you want to put that smartwatch in your backpack so that you can track your course, I will permit that. Just so everyone knows, that's not going to be permitted at Nationals. But on this course, I trust you. Just put it in the top of your backpack and let it be. That being said, I will watch watches. Just because I've been asked to. And if you have a smartwatch, I'm going to ask you to take it off of your wrist. So, there's just no reason. So let's not even go there. Other than that, I'm not going to be the GPS police. I trust all of you. I will always trust all of you. Again, we're here to race. We're here to have fun. A question has been asked if I have a GPS pedometer, bicycle meter, whatever you guys want to call it nowadays. Can I use that? Yes, you can in my race. Again, you can't in Nationals. Again, if it has a map on it, don't use the map or don't use it. But again, I'm not going to, I recommend that you have bikeometers. I don't know, I have so many different names now. Something that tracks the distance on your bike and tracks the speed on your bike. But that's where we are on GPSs. So bottom line is no actual GPSs, although I don't know anyone who carries an actual GPS. And if you're going to have a GPS type device like a smartphone or a smartwatch, it goes in your backpack, it's sealed, and we'll be good. We'll be good to go with there. Teams need to stick together. This is, again, my race. This race is a USARA sanctioned event. It's nationals are coming up. So this is more for your practice. Again, I'm not going to go out with a measuring, I'm not going to go out and measure you and be like, oh, you're not, you're more than 50 meters apart. Use your judgment. We're going to talk about a couple things in the race course in a little bit. Again, generally, I'd have to look at my own rules, but I think it's 50 meters. Obviously, I don't expect that on the bike, especially on some portions of the bike. The bottom line is the intent of the rule is that teams stay together. So please try to do that. Outside help. Outside help is a big thing. I didn't realize it was a big thing, but apparently it is. No outside help from family or friends. I do or will have maps or locations that family and friends can come and watch the race, and I highly recommend it. But again, they can't give you water or tell you where you are on the course or anything like that. So, I'm obviously not going to stop anyone from hugging a loved one, picking up their kid and saying hello, but they can't give you any outside help. So that's how that works. Make sure you have all of your gear. I'm not doing gear checks before the race. Again, going to go back to that theme. I trust you all. I respect all of you. There may be gear checks throughout the race, and this is more for both gearing you up for nationals and for your safety. So again, if one of my volunteers says, I need to see your, emergency blanket, don't throw a fit. Just show him or her your emergency blanket and move on, and everything will be fine. Check in and check out. Again, my volunteers are there for your safety, and I want to make this race as absolutely wide open as I possibly can. So therefore, I have a lot of volunteers to check in and check out. So when you come into a transition area, you will check in by giving the check-in person your number. You'll complete whatever you're supposed to do in that particular discipline, on that particular piece of terrain, and when you're done and you're leaving and you're moving to the next transition, make sure that you check out with the checkout person. Again, this is so that I can track where teams are, so that if you don't show up at the next TA within a reasonable amount of time, then I know where to look for you, because there is multiple roads, there are multiple paths, there are multiple different ways you could take to get from point A to point B, probably more so than you've seen in most adventure races. So I need to know to where at least to go look for you. Hopefully that'll never happen. But just in case it does, please just be courteous to my volunteers and let them know you're checking in and out. Maps. So I have a master map. The master map is on waterproof. It's printed by my topo. Absolutely outstanding map. I believe it's 1/30,000. I should have looked it up before the meeting. And then you will have supplemental maps. Supplemental maps are not on waterproof paper, so you do need to have a map case. It could rain. You never know. It's Minnesota. It might rain, may not rain. But each area, each discipline that you go into has a supplemental map. Those supplemental maps are generally 1/10,000. There's a couple cases where they were 1/12,000. And I think I have one that's 1/7,200. But in general, they're 1/10,000. And my points are very accurate. They have been verified by 4 different people. This course has been vetted at least 5 times. And one of the things that, again, kind of goes back to what I was talking about, what I like and what I don't like with adventure racing. One of the things is I hate when adventure races, they blow up and they have big circles and they don't realize on a 1/10,000 map, it's a 200-meter area and that they have the point in. So my points are drawn to scale. I'm interested on your feedback on that because they are small. I kind of wish I'd made the numbers a little bit bigger, but they're definitely readable. But yeah, I may play around in the future with making the numbers a little bit bigger, but keeping the circumference of where the actual point is located. Having said that, none of my points are hidden. I don't believe in bringing you to some place and then hiding a point underneath a stump or something like that. All my points are clearly visible. They're easy to be seen. They're basically, I'm 5'8". They're basically shoulder height for the most part. Obviously, some are lower, some are higher, but in general, you know, they're about shoulder height on me. The one thing is, so in the more public areas that you'll be racing in, the point is not always visible off the trail. If you're on a trail, some places don't have no trails, but in some of the more public areas, there are obviously trails, and I don't want the public to be tempted to steal the point. So, you know, don't just stand on the trail and be like, I don't see the point. It's right off the trail, and it'll be marked right off the trail. But just understand that my thought process when I put them out was, I didn't want the average Joe civilian to be able to see the point. Just taking their dog for a walk and think, oh, this is cool, I need to take this home. So I don't know why they would do that, but you know what I mean. I dropped my punch card on the ground, and I've been sitting here during this entire briefing thinking how I can somehow get it without disturbing the camera, but that's not going to happen. So I'm going to show you my markers as soon as I get my punch marker. So I'll be right back. Okay, I was able to do that without at least knocking the camera over. All right, so this brings up, again, we're going to go with that theme of what I like and what I don't like. And I know this is going to get hate mail, so you can just go ahead and start sending the email. Now, I do not have electronic markers. I don't like them. That's just point blank. I actually come into the woods to get away from, and nothing drives me more insane than that beep beep noise when I'm trying to get out in the woods and away from it. I get it. I know people love them. I know they track data. That's one of the reasons that I'm allowing you to use your smartwatch in your backpack if you want to track how many times you went in a circle trying to find a point. Me, but then again, I'm the same person that routinely, doesn't leave the house with their cell phone. Often I can't even find my cell phone. So I get it. I understand. I understand in this case, I'm a Neanderthal. But, love it, like it, not like it. There are no electronic points on my course. So my points, oh, gee, magic, I just happen to have a point right here. My points look just like this. They're bright orange and white. They're easily seen. I actually have triangles ordered. They're coming from Switzerland, but unfortunately they didn't make it here in time. That's okay. I actually talked to USARA, which, by the way, has been outstanding, helping me get ready for this race. And they're actually the ones that suggested this. I actually kind of really like them. So they're orange and white. If you notice, this is bike point. This is bike point. So it'll say bike point or checkpoint or whatever it is. And then there's also this number down here at the bottom. That's a control number. The reason for that is, for those of you who have been around adventure racing for a while, this is the good old-fashioned clicker system. Doesn't make any beeping noise. If for some reason this clicking system, this stapler was to disappear, I don't know how that could happen, but anything might happen. Simply write down the 4-digit control number. And don't bother to try to figure them out because they're totally random. But again, just in case the clicker would go away, that's what it's here for. So what happens is when you come out to a checkpoint, you can have your fancy dancy check card just like this. All you do, and again, I'm just gonna, so I would go here, I would find bike point 2, pretty easy. I put this here, I press it, it comes out, ooh, has nice little dots. Doesn't make any noise, has nice little dots, we're good to go. Again, a couple things you wanna keep in mind. Make sure that you check the square where your checkpoint is. If for some reason, and it's happened to me in the 103 races that I've been on, that I think that I'm at BP, I know I'm at BP2, but I fat finger it and I click the box for BP3. If that happens, take your pencil that you have to have with you on the course, simply circle it, draw an arrow, do something so that my scorecard people can recognize and say, no, this pattern goes with BP2, not with BP3. It doesn't happen often, but occasionally it does. I get it. Again, I'm not here to trick you. I'm not here to take points away from you. I just want to make sure that that you got it. So that's that. Now, the first thing, and again, I want to make sure everybody gets this, and I'm going to put this out again on race morning. There is one mistake that is my mistake on the course. When I was setting out the points for the course, I still don't know how this happened, but point number 19 and 9 are backwards. They're in two completely different parts of the course, but somehow I picked up 9 and I put it where 19 went, and I didn't realize it, and it was getting dark, and I just can't change it. So what you will do is when you get to checkpoint 9, you will check it on your card as checkpoint 9, but the physical checkpoint will say 19, and vice versa. Again, you won't be able to mess it up on the map. There's no way. There's no way you'll look and go, gee, am I at 9 or 19? They're not even on the same map sheet. And if you would happen to check 9 and 19 and 19 and 9, my scorekeeper's aware of it. But again, you'll know that you're at checkpoint 9. It's my mistake. I apologize. That is the one thing that's not written down in the instructions. Everything else that I'm talking about is written down in the instructions, but that's one thing because it just happened tonight. So that's one thing. Again, I'll go over it again in the morning. So again, you guys are more than welcome to send me an email, try to convince me that I need to go with electronic markers. Probably not going to happen. All right, we're gonna take we're gonna move on to the race course now. The video is actually going to split into 8-hour and 4-hour. It's kind of a mark for me to know where to split. All right, so the race course itself for the 8-hour folks. And this goes for the 4-hour folks too, but for the 8-hour folks, we live in Minnesota. There is water everywhere. It says it right on our license plate. We're the land of 10,000 lakes. We got lakes, we got water, we got swamps, we got it all. You will need to purify your water. However, because it's going to be extremely warm for Minnesota, it's supposed to be in the 90s on Saturday, I am allowing you, if you want to put like a 1 gallon or 2 gallon, 5 gallon, I don't care. If you want to put a 2 gallon water jug in your canoe at the 7 a.m. drop off, you're more than welcome to do that. Please don't trash my drop offs. When you get to the TA and you're transitioning to the canoe, you refill up your water, dump the rest of the water out, whatever, take it in your canoe. I don't care if you get rid of the water bottle on the front side of the canoe or the back side of the canoe. I don't really care. Obviously, don't throw it in the river. That would be ridiculous. But just, give it to my volunteers, throw it away. Just don't trash the place. I trust you all. Again, just letting you know. But, you also have to carry water purification method. And there's plenty of water. There's water everywhere. Most of the creeks have water in them. Obviously, the river has water in them. You're going to have swamps that have water in them. There's water. There's always water. Okay, which brings me to my next point, the water crossing. First of all, thank you for everybody for watching the water video. There has been a change. So I finally got a hold of the insurance company, and we really worked it out and nailed down exactly what's covered, what's not, how it all works. So right now, as of the pre-race meeting, the water level is at the 33-inch mark. As long as the water level stays below the 36-inch mark, it is not required that you wear a harness or PFD to cross the river. However, you must still cross the river at the guide rope, and you must be within arm's length of the guide rope. Please, 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 please do not attempt to cross the river anywhere else. The river where we've selected for you to cross is where all the locals cross the river. It's a well-known crossing point. The river can get very deep on down the river on both sides. It can be dangerous. The river is no joke. So again, I'm begging you. I'm asking you. I'm asking you. Do not attempt to cross the river and attempt to cross back. And be like, well, I'll cross later on down at the water point, but I know I can get this point if I cross. Don't do it. You'll be able to see where points are on the map on the other side of the river. Sorry, that's just the way. This is the one place where I guess I'll be a hypocrite from this standpoint of I'm going to pigeonhole you, and you must cross the river there. If you don't feel comfortable, the PFDs and the harnesses will still be there. You're absolutely welcome to use them. I recommend it. If you haven't crossed a river before, this is your first time ever crossing a river, it takes 5 minutes to put on a PFD and a harness and cross the river. It's worth it. However, if you feel comfortable, it's something you do every day. Again, as long as you're within arm's length and you let my lifeguards know, again, always never more than 2 people on the rope at a time. Again, the rope can handle it. I just want to make sure that it just creates a dangerous situation. If on race day that we're not anticipating rain, but if we do get rain, or that river goes up and down, you're actually on 2 rivers, but the river that you're crossing, the water level does go up and down. If it is above 36 inches, I will let you know on race morning. All right, so the other thing that I wanted to talk about on the race course or as part of the race course is, and I hope this doesn't happen, I really hope this doesn't happen, but what if you decide to quit and you're like, I'm done, I don't want to do this anymore. One, if it's not a medical emergency, just let the volunteers know and move back to what I call the ROC, or the Race Operations Center. Here's the thing. That's why I always say, why quit? You have to bike back to or walk back to the Race Operations Center anyway, so you might as well keep racing. Something that was told to me years ago, actually while I was still in the military, was just tell yourself 5 more minutes. I'll try it for 5 more minutes. I'll try it for 3 more minutes. This course can get frustrating. There are parts of this course that can get frustrating. If you get frustrated, tell yourself you're going to go another 10 feet, another 20 feet, another minute. Please, I really, really don't want anyone to quit the course. I don't think you will. But if you do, again, let my volunteers know so that I know where you are. Which brings me to my next point, and that is a medical emergency. And this is in my race directions, but if there's obviously if it's a life-threatening emergency, call 911. Let me know when you can. Local fire, local police, and the 911 center all have our maps. They know where we're going to be at. Again, I don't anticipate any problems, but you never know. So if it's a medical emergency, life-threatening, call 911. There's cell phone service everywhere on this course. If it's non-medical, non-life-threatening, treat your teammate, treat yourself if you're a soloist, and then move to one of my volunteers and let them know whether you can continue or whether you cannot continue. And if it's medical, then I'll send someone out to come pick you up. And I put that right before I went into the terrain. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes to make sure I get everything squared away here. Right before I went into the terrain. And so this is where I'm going to give you hint number 1. I promised you 3 hints at the race meeting. And man, I wanted this meeting to be shorter. But 3 hints. Hint number 1, no race update 3. No race update 3 inside and out. It will help you for a portion of this course. That's the best way I can say it. I would no race update 3. Okay, so now let's talk about the terrain. For those of you who may not live in Minnesota or have never, navigated here. So in Minnesota, we have boggy swamps in the lowland, and it tends to get very, because of the winds that we have up here and the storms, there's a lot of trees down up on the high ground. So there's this seam, if you will. It's hard to explain, and it's obviously terrain dependent, but there's this thin seam that kind of undulates through the woods of this very easy, what I would call go terrain with very rough terrain on either side. If you are able to find that pocket and get in that groove of that pocket, it can be very, very enjoyable. If not, this course can be tough. It can be really tough. So if you find yourself way down in the muck or buried up in the high ground, move, change direction, slide up or slide down, slide left, slide right, slide north, slide east. It's not impossible. Obviously, I set the course up, and by the way, that's another note. Nowhere on this course did I ever, drive down a road and say, okay, I'm going to put a point here. What you guys walked through is the same thing that I walked through, because I wanted to see the course from your perspective. I know the question is probably going to come up. I obviously think the course is clearable. Actually, by my estimation, I think the top teams can clear the course in about 7 hours and 33 minutes. That's from a range of a guesstimation to it's a very tough course to decide. And just again, I'm looking at the time here, trying not to make this too long. But one of the part of the course that I wanted to vet was I have a friend of mine who's a fellow adventure racer. He went out to vet a section of the course, and it took him 2 hours and 53 minutes. And I thought, oh, Lord. And then when he came in, he looked like he had been in a fight with a barn cat and lost. And he had some not very nice comments for me. That's okay. So 2 days later, I sent a female friend of mine who actually is a purist, an orienteering purist. She did the exact same course. Over the exact same terrain. She completed the course in 47 minutes without a scratch, and had nothing but praise for the course, for this particular section. That's how varied the sections are. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. All right, so let's talk about the bike sections for a minute. So that kind of goes over the land nav section. Oh, one last thing on the land nav section. On one of the land nav sections, as I stated earlier, there is a prison. You're going to see it on your map. The prison is very well marked. If for some reason, I don't know how this could possibly, because I didn't even put any points over there, but if for some reason you find yourself on prison ground and one of the prison guards says, halt, stop, I would highly recommend don't take another step. Tell them your name, what you're doing. We have talked to the prison. They know we're going to be out there because we didn't want them to get nervous that people are going to be running around in the woods even semi-close to the prison. So they know you're going to be there. Again, they're going to get antsy if you get close to the fence. Now, unlike other off-limits areas, the prison's pretty easy. If you see concertina wire, triple strand, razor wire, you're probably close to the prison. Again, just having a little bit of fun. Okay, bike sections. On one of the bike sections, you're going to see a checkpoint that says mirrors. Don't worry about it. You'll understand it when you get there. So don't ask me any questions about the mirrors because I'm not going to give you any further help. You'll completely understand it when you get there. I promise you, you will understand it when you get there. Okay, Sorry, got to back up. One more thing on the land nav section, and this is hint number 2, is if you happen to get frustrated or angry and start calling me names as you're trying to find the water crossing on your map, I don't mention it anywhere. It's not a point to find. It's not a checkpoint. But there is an old 1968, 1970s ski trail marker. It's actually a really cool marker, so please don't take it down. And that marker I did put on your map. And, you know, a lot of people would be like, well, if you don't listen to this meeting, like, why the heck did he put a ski trail marker on the map? Because I don't say anything else about it. If you go to that ski trail marker and you're very observant and you happen to look around you, you would probably be able to see man-made objects, small man-made objects, placed along the way that would guide you from the ski man. It's a little plaque. I can't really explain it other than that. It just says cross-country. It doesn't say cross-country skiing. It says this little cool ski guy. I mean, he's very old and worn out, but anyway, if you happen to navigate from that specific point, and you were very observant, you would find the water crossing without any problem at all. Okay, now finally I'm done with the land nav section. I even made notes for this. All right, on the bike section. On the second bike section, it's fast. It's very fast. It's a lot of fun. Some of the best trails in southern Minnesota. Be advised that it is open to the public. There may be other people out there. So just be cautious. There may be people walking. So just kind of be careful. Okay, the other thing that I need to go over is, and this is in your directions, but I just want to go over it so you guys hear it. Between points 9 and 10 is what's known locally as the North Trail. You guys will see it on the map. But after, most of you will find these points in order, and for this particular leg. If you're moving from point 9 to point 10, which you'll be going east on the North Trail, that trail is has a very steep drop-off on one side. So if you don't, it's easy mountain biking, but it's very, very narrow. It's so narrow that you can't hike a bike through there. So if you get scared and you jump off your bike, you would actually injure yourself more than just riding through it. That being said, it's very smooth. It's a lot of fun. Some locals fear it. Other locals love it. Just to give you an example, and I know this isn't going to help you, but you know, like my daughter's just starting mountain biking. That is one of her favorite routes. Another lady that I regularly mountain bike with, who's been mountain biking for 5 years, she's absolutely terrified of that. Again, I don't say this to scare you. I just want you to be aware that once you commit going past 9 over to 10, there are sections where you can stop. Don't get me wrong. And if you're an avid mountain biker, it's not even an advanced intermediate trail. It's a green trail, but it's just, there is a steep drop off. If you're going from 9 to 10, it would be on your left side. Again, plenty of directions to go, but just be aware of it. If you don't feel comfortable, then simply turn around at 9, and you'll see the trails on the map. There is a southern trail. It's longer. It will take you longer to get to 10, but it's completely safe and it's very, very wide. And we made sure that you will see a bright yellow trail on the map. That's kind of a trail that we cut in for those people who may be afraid. Again, I don't want you to fear it. I just know your ability, know your limits. If you've never been on a mountain bike before, I'd be hesitant to go to 9 to 10. If you're an avid mountain biker, kill it. You'll have a great time. So it's steep but fun. At point 12 needs to be your go, no-go decision on whether you're going to go to points 13 and 14. The reason I say that is because that particular section of trail is advanced intermediate trail. It's not hard trail. It has blind switchbacks. Again, some drop-offs, but not near the drop-offs that you'll see from 9 to 10. It's more blind switchbacks, pretty narrow trail, pretty rocky. So again, if you don't want to go to 1314, you'll see on the map, just take the bridge across the river, and it takes you right into TA5, literally in about 2 minutes. Or I'm sorry, TA3. Yeah, TA3. Takes you into TA3, which is where the canoes are. Same place you're going to end up after you go to checkpoint 13. Again, I challenge you. I hope you all go for, at 12 you go to 13 and 14. But if you don't want to, that option, again, options, and more options, that bailout option is there for you. Don't take it. And also, at bike point 12 is where I said it should be known as the Halloween course, because historically in Faribault, it is where, it's kind of a dark part of Faribault's history. It's where an asylum was located in the turn of the century. Pretty bad asylum, actually. And there are historically still parts of the asylum there. I know I don't have to tell you guys this because who wants to carry additional stuff? But anything historical, any historical pieces of the asylum or the history of the asylum, obviously don't touch it. Just leave it there. Again, I just want you to know, so as you're kind of riding through there and you see, old buildings and old historic stuff, that's what that is. Lastly, we're going to go over the canoe section. Again, the canoe section is much, much, much improved from when I originally put out the canoeing. You saw in update 3, the Rice County Search and Rescue has done an absolutely incredible job of cleaning the stringers out of the river, and the river is very, very, very nice. That being said, again, just pay attention, watch what you're doing, and you won't have any problem. I will, I'm actually going to throw in, I guess I'm going to give you 4 hints, because I will tell you this. After you find the last checkpoint on the river, stay left. Stay left on the river, because the takeout, which is marked, it's an actual Rice County takeout. Where the takeout is fairly fast water. Again, so there you go. And the last thing that we're going to talk about, I'm almost done, is the very last section is going back to the finish line, which is also the Race Operations Center. It's the same place you started. There are no checkpoints. After you check out of TA5 and you're going back to the rock, there are no checkpoints. Take any road you want. Take any road you want. Take any path you want. Any way you want to go back. But I will give you this final hint. The shortest path may not be your best path. I should say the shortest road. You're not really going to be on a path. There's no trails. The shortest road is not always necessarily your best road. So that's pretty much the race meeting. One last thing that I didn't cover early at the beginning was, for those of you who may not be familiar, I put this in my race update, and it's also in my race packet, I believe. But I want to leave you guys just, if you're not familiar with farm machinery, if you're on the road and a combine or a spreader or something is moving in your direction or coming up from behind you, please get as far off the road as you possibly can. Again, I know most of the farmers here, they know the race is going on. We're kind of in the middle of crop season anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But just in case, just know, I personally drive those pieces of equipment too. They're hard to control. So you may have the right of way, but it doesn't do you any good if you're dead, and we obviously don't want that to happen. So please just give the farmers the right of way. It doesn't take them long at all to pass you and then get back on the road. In closing, I want to thank each and every one of you. I can't wait to meet all of you personally, but I want to thank each and every one of you for trusting me as your race director, coming to a first-time race. I've had a great time designing this course. I hope you have as much fun running it as I've had designing it. That's all. We're done. Thanks.